Okay, folks, hello and welcome to today's town hall. Apologies there, we had some slight technical difficulties, so our timer is completely wrong, but we are now live. You do not have to wait 59 minutes, 20 seconds for us. We are ready to go. So thank you everyone for joining to today's town hall. This is obviously our bi-weekly event. As always, we are live streaming and recording today's session, so if you have any issue at any point and you get disconnected, head on over to youtube.com/@hospitable and you can catch up there. As always, we're going to have some company and product updates from ourselves, and we'll try and leave some room for audience Q&A. If you do have any questions throughout today's session, please go ahead and type them into the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen. If you put them in the chat, we may not see them. So if you have a question that you would like to get answered, please use the written Q&A there. Okay, just before I hand over to PC, we're going to briefly flash up our disclaimer, as always, and then I'm going to hand it over. Thank you, PC.
I'm not sure if I can see myself now, and hope that works. Okay, but anyway, first things first, we're gonna introduce our first new team member. As it's customary, you see her name on the slide right here. It's Talia. Talia, can you come on stage and introduce yourself and say a few fun things about you?
Yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Talia. I'm based in the Netherlands, but originally I'm from the UK. I've been working in kind of customer support for 10 plus years. So super excited to be starting with Hospitable. I started 3 weeks ago. I don't know that many fun facts about myself, but I have a small little dog, a little pug called Leela, like the character from Futurama, if you've ever watched it. Um, and my other pug was also called Clancy, like Clancy Wiggum from The Simpsons. We have a strong theme going on. And yeah, that's kind of a lot about me. I enjoy horror movies, I enjoy gaming, and you could probably see I have also enjoyed getting tattooed. So thank you and
I did
hello.
that. You did take the product test a few weeks ago, right?
I didn't because I spoke to Naran about this today because we do the mini quizzes throughout the
Yeah.
boarding instead.
So yeah, support has a different way of doing training than the rest of it because it's basically an entire 2 weeks long of product test and grill like that. That's a great catch. Thank you, Talia. You're not the first one to join us, I want to say this week, but Bella is also joining, and she's actually going to be the customer advocate lead for the entire Americas shift out of Canada. Bella, say a few words about you.
Hey, thanks. I'm Bella. I'm from Calgary, Canada, where we just got a large dumping of snow over the weekend. This is my second week at Hospitable, and as PC said, I'm joining as a customer advocate lead for the American time zones. Once I'm caught up to speed, I'm going to focus my efforts on driving down wait times and improving the quality of our support to gift you hosts out there your time back to focus on the things in your life that are important to you. And a fun fact about me is that despite having an 820-day streak on Duolingo, I still cannot speak French, and I probably still won't be able to speak French even if I get to a 5,000-day streak, but I will persist anyway.
Let's not try that one on a town hall live with everybody, right? That would
No,
be
let's
so
not.
tempting. I could do the funniest thing. Okay, thank you, Bella. Best of luck for you and for your team. Obviously, you have a perfect audience here on encouraging you to achieve those goals. Now, next, we have someone that's not often coming on this town hall, who is a director of engineering. It seems I need to introduce him and say a few words. This is Sam, a director of engineering. He's the other guy with a great accent from Northern England, and he's very proud to basically be sharing this achievement because it's been a lot of work for his team.
Yeah, thank you, PC. Yeah, I won't introduce myself again, but yes, I'm director of engineering, and yeah, the reason I wanted to introduce myself again is because it's only every 12 months is basically my timeline for appearing on a town hall, and we've got a lot of new faces here. So yes, that's my kind of timeline. So kind of we kind of knew the roadmap going into kind of 2025 was going to be pretty substantial. We knew coming off the back of the Airbnb PMS scope adjustments at the end of 2024 that we've been making some big changes when it comes to the ownership that we have, taking care of your properties and your guests as well. We know our growth, both in customers and features, has been pretty incredible over the last few years, and especially offering the only merchant of record solution at scale in the industry right now. So handling direct bookings, handling taxis, as well as things like upsells. We also do guest vetting and rental agreements. And so that means that Hospitable is handling increasingly sensitive data. And all of this is just critical to how you, our customers, run your business. And that's a ton of responsibility, right? So I believe that that level of responsibility is something that we should back up with more than words. And this has been a personal pet project of mine in 2025, starting somewhere around January. So I'm really pleased to share that Hospitable is now SOC2 Type 2 certified, independently audited by Johansson Group. So for those that are unfamiliar, SOC2 or SOC2 is the industry standard for security compliance in SaaS products today. We've had an independent body root through the darkest corners of our metaphorical underwear drawers, and they've verified that our security controls aren't just documented, but they are implemented and adhered to day by day. And that's across our application, our infrastructure, data storage, and even down to how we communicate with our customers as well. Going forward, we'll maintain this through annual audits. So as we keep building, you can kind of trust security remains foundational to how Hospitable operates. If you follow the QR code on the screen, there's a more detailed post in our community with more information. And if you're a bit of a compliance nerd like myself, you're absolutely encouraged to ask any questions in there too, and I will answer those personally. And if you really want to nerd out about compliance and security, we have our Trust Center. So that's trust.hospitable.com. That's our shiny new Trust Center where you can view more information about all the different controls that we have in place, as well as our SOC2 report. And that's my big announcement. So thank you very much, and I'll hand you over to Andrew for the main bit.
Yes. So after we nerd out on compliance, let's nerd out on numbers. Today, the main focus for our town hall is on metrics. And we're going to hear from the engineers that have built a brand new experience for you. And we're going to hear from hosts that have been road testing the new capabilities and how they're using them in their short-term rental businesses. So on to metrics. So a little bit of history, not too much. We released the current version of metrics, which I believe is like the third version. There's been internal arguments. I think V3 is what we have today. We released that to private pilot almost exactly 2 years ago to the day. It was a pretty big upgrade from our previous version, from V2. We added several highly requested graphs and key metrics. A lot of the work, though, was just getting the numbers right. It is really hard in this industry to know what all the components of a payout are across different channels. We spent a lot of time getting good numbers and never really got back, I think, to expanding more about what data we were able to share with you. The current metrics still lack a lot of things you wanted, a lot of the things you need to get real insights into your business. So what did you tell us that we're missing? Number one, there are a lot of things we haven't been reporting that are important to you, right? One of our strengths is messaging features, for example, but we don't help you understand your messaging performance, especially for larger teams that are basically running contact centers from the Hospitable inbox. We're not giving you any reporting capabilities on how your team is doing. You told us you wanted to look at revenue slightly differently. Many of you want to see your revenue with cleaning fees removed, or you want to view revenue by component so you can see how much of your income you get from, say, your pet fees. Can't do that today. You told us you need the ability to prorate your reservation revenue whenever a booking has stay dates that fall in more than one calendar month. A lot of you have to do this data. A lot of you have this data and you're doing it manually, and you're spending a lot of time trying to derive this yourselves, which is really off-brand for us. The last thing, you asked for different comparison periods, and that makes eminent sense. Our metrics always compare your current view to the previous period. One of our hosts, Sandy, told us, with properties that are very seasonal, trends by the month don't mean much. Comparing one 90-day period to the previous period is irrelevant. What you want is that same 90-day period the previous year. So a couple of months ago, we set out to remake metrics again, a fourth version if you're keeping count, to close the gaps you all highlighted in your feature requests. And I think one of our hosts, Wendy here, highlighted the pain and the opportunity best. Reporting is the area where I need the most help, and it's the hardest part of using Hospitable for me right now. I rely on these numbers daily. I would love to see this part of the platform grow. Now, today we have good news for Wendy. Today we are launching an all new version of our metrics. And we're going to start with a little teaser video to show you what it's all about. If the audio cooperates, we have audio on this video.
It's not just a side hustle. It's a real business.
And real businesses need real metrics. Introducing the next evolution of metrics inside Hospitable. Beautiful, flexible dashboards that adapt to the way you operate. Create dedicated dashboards for each property and tailor them with the metrics that matter to you. Select what you need from a rich library of widgets.
Instant comparisons across months, properties, and platforms. Clear insights into revenue, occupancy, and performance, all in a few clicks. The new metrics in Hospitable. See your business clearly and run it with confidence.
Cool. The audio actually worked. Feature unlock for our Zoom webinars. Awesome. So yeah, thank you for the team that puts that together. As you saw in the new video, we're going to start giving you access to all kinds of new dashboards and charts to help you monitor and improve your business. Data that you've never been able to pull from Hospitable previously, let alone visualize in a chart. We've created several new dashboards that are aligned around themes, around a job to be done, as we like to say. To introduce these dashboards, we're going to do things a little bit different this town hall, and we're going to bring some of our colleagues who also run their own short-term rental businesses. We call them hospita hosts. Aren't we clever? And we're going to bring them on stage and show you how they are using our new metrics product in the operation of their business. So the first host and colleague I'm going to call on is Nikki, who is from our sales team. I'm going to give Nikki a second to turn on his video, unmute, and share his screen. Are you ready, Nikki?
I am ready. Are you?
Just pretend it's a sales call with a lot of people.
Perfect. My favorite. Congratulations to everybody who figured out how to make sound work. That was very impressive. No hiccups there. Very excited to dive into this a little bit. So here is how I am using the new metrics dashboard for quality to monitor reviews and help me figure out where I need to improve with my business. So I start with the quality dashboard and I set my parameters. So I want to look at all of this year, and my default that I'm looking at to start would be a by property breakdown and for the entire year. So with my average review chart, this lets me see individually for each property which ones are performing well. So I see blue, yellow, blue, and I'm colorblind, so I'm going to call that one blue too. All doing pretty well. And then down here, little green guy, not doing so well. I run a midterm rental business and reviews are few and far between. So these are very important for me to make sure I address them. The other view I like to use would be instead of by property, I go no grouping and then by month. So what this means is the entire portfolio broken down by month. So I see trends over time. Is this an issue with one property getting a poor review, or is it a trend that I need to fix? So those are the two breakdowns I like to use for that. We have the bars. Andrew?
I was just going to preempt you and make sure that you were explaining, yes, the bars and the line. Thank you.
The bars. The bars are current data and the line would be year over year. So you're going to have everything slapped for the previous reporting period, comparables on top of each other. So a quick view into how you're doing compared to how you're doing last year. I scroll down a bit, I got my positive review tags and my negative review tags, so I can see what I do well, easy to get inside, clear instructions, yay for automation, and then dive deeper into what the negative tags are. Seems like there's a theme around cleanliness, so I need to either have a discussion with my cleaning team or be more involved and get deeper checks on how those are doing before people check in. The fun part within each of these little mini dashboards is I can then apply filters within. So if I want to see specific to one property, I select here, I apply the filter, and I can see the positive tags related to that one. Then I have my latest 5-star reviews and my latest bad reviews that I stack on top of each other. So if I want to give myself a little pat on the back and an ego boost, I look at this one. Bad reviews will tell me specifically what did I not do well, so I can see that that same property is there with a bad review and I can dive deeper into that. And then we have breakdowns, average review by category. So again, cleanliness near the bottom, that's where I need to pick up to get myself back up here. And going by property, same concept. We can then go deeper into this. My Zoom thing is blocking me from selecting this. So I'm just not going to do it. That's how I'm using it for quality to monitor my reviews. And with that, I will pass it over to, I believe Derek is up next.
All right, great. Nikki, I didn't know you're colorblind. Introduces all kinds of opportunities to mess with you in the future. So welcome everybody. My name's Derek. I'm a Hospitable host on my 10-year journey as a host. And as Emily on our team has described it, I've become the accidental property manager. So every year, the last several years, I acquired property to offset personal income taxes. And about 6 months ago, I reached a level in which I hired a full-time person to help me manage my properties. That person is managing my guest messaging, alterations, and the cleaner coordination, but I am still responsible for handling revenue management and oversight of the business. Along the way, I also picked up a couple property management agreements. And so now I have to report every month an owner statement and make payments. So what I'll be showing today is the revenue manager metrics dashboard. So over here on the left side, you'll see, sort of starting at a high level, you can create different dashboards and then save them. And you can call these whatever you want. So Nikki just went over quality. I'm now clicking on the revenue manager dashboard. So things that are pre-populated over here are things like revenue per available night. If I want to dig in a little bit deeper, I can hit view full screen, right? And if I scroll down, I can actually see the underlying data if I want to drill in. And since repetition is a good part of training, when I hover over, red bars equal this year, the line graph equals last year. So how am I doing this year compared to last year? Now, if we go through, again, there are lots of reports here. What if the RevPan report isn't really the report you want to see in the upper left-hand corner? No problem. You can go ahead and hit the gear icon and you could reorder the widgets. And here are arrows. Let's say I want to move. Actually, what's really important for me, because now as someone who has a staff member, I have a Monday morning meeting before I start my hospitable week, have a meeting with my guest services manager, and we go over these reports. So I want to go top to left, like most people read, to see the organization of what matters in our Monday morning meeting. So I can just hit save. Now, I have my own properties, but I also manage for 2 other hosts. So let's say what makes me look really professional is not only every month when I issue my owner statement and make a payment to the owner, I like to send a text, or sometimes I'll do an email, but most of the time I just send some screenshots through text and say, hey, here's what's going on with that month. So what I can do now is I can just go filter. There was a question, I think Monique asked it, so I'll just hit that up. You can select by platform, but I could choose the property. I know this is the property that I manage for another individual. So I can scroll through and show what's our occupancy, what's our available nights, what's
Just need
our
to apply
booking
the
lead time.
filter, Derek.
Oh,
Don't forget.
yes. Thank you. Stage fright or error, I'm not sure. Thank you. So once I've applied the filter, I can now see all of that data. So when I can either copy and paste this and send it to my owner, point out insights, send it in an email. Again, it just makes me look professional when I'm on top of my data as a business owner. As the commercial showed, it makes you look a little bit more top end. And just sending, in my opinion, just sending a statement to an owner with cash is a good thing, but giving them insights is what makes me differentiated. And hopefully when they know that I have control and understand what's going on in the market and with their property, they're less likely to not renew with me. So other really fantastic reports, we have stay length, unbooked gaps, and I'll take a look at this one. Like in the unbooked gaps, this is a really important one for me because it drives back for me making adjustments to my dynamic pricing in Hospitable. In the last couple, when we first launched dynamic pricing, It was a replacement of Airbnb smart pricing. Now we've added so many additional features. For example, we have dynamic minimum stays. So the closer you get into the booking window, you can actually lower. Let's say you have a 5-night minimum, you can lower that down to 4, 3, 2, 1. The closer you get, because if you haven't got a booking with 3 days out, you probably are a little bit desperate for a booking. We also have released where you can control the discounts as you get closer to the stays. So when I take a look at something like unbooked gaps, or when I take a look at length of stay distribution, booking lead time, these are all indications where I can go back into the software, adjust my length of stay discounts, which we now sync in from Airbnb, adjust my dynamic pricing rules, and say, hey, here's what we're going to try. And I can have a conversation with my owner. Hey, I think we should apply some of these settings. I'm going to make these settings. Let's try to get revenue up, or let's try to get more longer term stays, whatever those insights might share. So this is the Revenue Manager dashboard. Thank you.
All right. Next up is Brian, and Brian is going to show us the Property Manager dashboard. This is the one that's only available to mobile.
I will. I apologize. I rarely use Zoom for meetings, so if I jack this up, don't yell at me, but I'm going to try. So this is and I'm sharing my screen now, right? Just to clarify.
You're doing great, Brian.
Perfect.
You're doing great.
Sounds good. So this is so I'm a property manager. Unlike Derek, I purposely decided to be a property manager for whatever reason, which I regret on almost a daily basis. But this is my property manager dashboard to track revenue for my business as a manager. So it shows me things, and I think Brendan had asked the question in the chat a few minutes ago, like how do we break down revenue that's coming from me, like my commission, in a report that's going to show separate than like total revenue that the owner might earn versus what I earn. And this is that dashboard. So the reservation commission to manager will show me how much money I earn on every reservation based on the owner statement. So I can filter this just like Derek showed, filter it by time frame, filter it by property, by booking platform if I really want to see that. So I can see my commissions on a monthly basis. I can see total earnings, but that might include things like cleaning fees and upsells and other stuff, but I can see all of that in one dashboard. Some other helpful things in here, like expenses. I might want to just run a report to see what my expenses are on a monthly basis so I can keep track of all that. And then owner payouts. So I can see like on a monthly basis, what do I owe each owner? How much am I paying them out? And I think there's a bar graph for this as well. Yeah. So you can kind of keep track of it on a year-over-year basis. So just a really nice way. I had a spreadsheet for all this before, and it was kind of a pain to go between like creating owner statements in Hospitable and checking everything in my spreadsheet and still having to update that on a monthly basis. But this makes it super easy to keep track of everything, and I can ditch the spreadsheet and never have to use it again, which is a really happy day.
Thank you, Brian. With that, I think Nick is going to be joining us on stage.
Yep. So thank you, Brian, Derek, and Nikki, and Andrew. So hi, everyone. I'm Nick. You may have seen me previously talking about AI, upsells, marketplace, guest portal, other things. And now I had a hand in metrics as well, so finger in many pies. So let's recap what we've just shown you. Today, we introduced a brand new metrics experience with a large library of metrics, most of them being powered by charts. There are several pre-built dashboards that are kind of jobs to be done themes like revenue manager and quality. Comparing dates or comparing data rather between dates and properties is now built in and simple. This includes, importantly, seasonality, as many of you have asked for, where you can see last year's data on the same chart. And you can personalize your metrics experience as you see fit. So move widgets around to change the order that suits you, add more widgets from our large library, create your own dashboards. So this is your story. Personalize it as you see fit. Another big change is that we've introduced messaging metrics. Response times can directly impact inquiry conversions, in-stay guest experience, reviews, and repeat stays. So as part of this metrics update, we're now giving you visibility into your inbox performance. And you will even be able to see a breakdown across your team with each teammate's response times and their response volume over time. So you've just seen several Hospitable hosts talk about their specific hosting scenarios and how they're using the new metrics dashboards. A lot of you will find something in common with what you've seen already. But we also recognize that your hosting journey is uniquely yours. So different metrics matter to you alone and different ways of splitting and combining your data compared to another host. Now, we obviously can't predict every single possible scenario up front, but what we can do is give you the tools to write your own story. And to show you what I mean, I will invite Tinkara on stage. Tinkara is the software engineer responsible for the majority of the metrics upgrade that you are seeing today. So Tinkara. You're muted.
Okay, was speaking before. Thank you, Nick, for the handover. I'm Tinkara, and I am very excited to share how to personalize the new metrics experience. So I might be repeating a couple of things that my colleagues have previously said, but I don't think that's going to hurt. Hearing a couple of things, it's just going to sit in a bit more. So you've seen what existing dashboards we pre-built for you, but what if you want something custom, something that we didn't think instantly, and you want something something different. So you can do that in a couple of ways. So the first way you can do it is just by adding an existing widget to a pre-existing dashboard, or you can create a brand new one that's going to suit your needs. So that's super easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to click Create Dashboard here and Add Widget. So what you're seeing here is our widget library. So it offers several different categories of widgets, each represented in different ways. So charts, single values, there are even some tables in there. So let's say that I'm interested in an overall performance across different categories. And I'm going to pick a couple of widgets that I want to add in here. So I want to see how my revenue has been performing over the past period. Let's say the average rating. This is rating. So I'm going to add the average guest review rating, bad reviews, because I want to see like what I need to fix with my property, and also negative review tags. And let's do occupancy, maybe occupancy pacing. I'm going to add these 5 widgets in here. So with this, now we can see how much revenue we've been generating and what the average guest review rating is, like what the whole guest experience is, and what we might want to improve. And we can see what our pacing is like, and if we need to like adjust our calendar dynamic pricing in order to get more bookings. So the first thing that I want to explain on here is the default date range. So whenever you create a new dashboard, the default range that we're going to set is current month plus 2 months on each side. So 2 months in the past and 2 months in the future. And this should give you a very easy way to assess your performance. So what others have explained already. So you're going to see this line over the bars. And the line shows you the performance last year, and the bars show you the performance this year. So November 2025 versus November 2024. And we see that the revenue is still a bit, there's a bit less revenue than there was in 2024. So yeah, you can really mix and match whatever widgets you want to add in here. And something that we've gotten feedback quite a lot is you wanted quick access to different views, be that by different time periods or maybe by different sets of properties. So we have this dashboard with the exact metrics that we want. And what if we wanted to do some customization? So I'm going to duplicate this dashboard. And we're going to take these exact same metrics, but look at them at a different angle. So let's say that I want to look at the last 3 months and broken down by week. I'm going to apply the filters and click Save. So this allows me to see the overall performance in terms of weeks, and we can see that if I did any changes, I could see if our properties, if the performance was impacted by them or not. So we've got basically the same dashboard with 2 different versions of them. So we can change the name of the dashboard to make sense. Let's say 3 months, week over week. Whoopsie. There you go. But what if I'm not interested in time, or if I'm interested in properties, for example, seeing the data for different properties? I can duplicate this dashboard again, or I could duplicate the other one. And I'm gonna just set it back to the default date range and do it by month. And I'm going to apply a filter by a few properties. So I want to see just the performance of these 3 properties. I'm going to apply the filters. And there you go, looking at the same data again, but with different properties. We can go even further from that. What if I don't want to like filter by properties? What if I want to filter by an owner and see how how this owner's properties are performing? Click here, apply filters, and let's click save. So now we've got a performance. We have an overview of the performance of this properties for this exact owner, and I can rename it to, I don't know, Jim Cooper. And I've got a custom view showing the data just for Jim, so I can share it with him. So with this, you can look at the properties you manage for an owner. You've got a unique sets of data, and hopefully I've given you a good enough overview of the new metrics feature that will allow you to tell your unique hosting story. So back to you, Nick.
Thank you, Tenkara. So that is the new metrics. It is live right now for professional and mobile customers. We have pre-built dashboards ready for you, as well as the ability to personalize your metrics experience, as Tenkara just demonstrated. If you've used the previous metrics and were exporting reservations, reviews, and task data, don't worry. That hasn't gone away and is still available to you in the exports section in the new metrics sidebar. If you want a live deep dive where you can ask questions and see some of the more advanced features, we have a metrics workshop scheduled in 2 weeks' time. You can register for that at hsptb.com/workshop or by scanning the QR code on this page. And as always, since this comes up all the time, all of our town halls are recorded and are available on our YouTube channel. That's YouTube/@Hospitable. Next, there is a lot that we still want to do. We're nowhere near done. And quite frankly, we were hoping to have ready for you today some of these things on the slide, but it's taking more time to get right at the level of quality that we want. But to give you a preview of what's coming, we are looking forward to things like alerts, where charts that go beyond a certain threshold, whether that's above or below, would send you a notification, for example. Comp set benchmarking will be really powerful, allowing you to see how you are doing relative to similar properties in your area. That came up as a question already in the chat. We recently released an owner portal with some built-in metrics, but what we're looking forward to is the ability to share any of the things that you've seen today directly on the owner portal in any way that you want. And along with that, also a improvement to the permission system for metrics, being able to segment who on your team you want to see which metrics. And of course, there are more widgets and metrics that we are working on, some more complex, some pretty straightforward, but there's a long list. And there's also a long tail of customized formulas and calculations that you want, but can't build, but we can't build every single one of the hundreds of possible combinations. So we've already been adding matrix capabilities into Copilot, and we will be doubling down on that, allowing you to specify exactly what kind of metric, what kind of widget you're looking for. Copilot builds it for you, and you can add it directly into your dashboard to be reused, just like any other widget that we have prepared up front for you. We're really excited about that, super powerful. And that's it from us. Except, Andrew, maybe there's
one more.
else?
There's one more thing, Nick. One more thing. So we always like to do one more thing whenever we can. So the announcement starting from today, we're going to correct something in our product tiers that has always bothered us a bit. And that's that our host tier users do not have access to any metrics. That always kind of felt wrong. Well, that changes today as well. And this is a pretty timely change because a lot of our host plan users traditionally haven't been on more than one booking platform. And we weren't trying to compete with, say, Airbnb's own metrics. But now that we have listings creation and listings management is taking shape, we expect more host users to branch out into multiple channels when metrics are critical. Metrics from the PMS are critical to understanding your business. Now, we want host users to focus on only the most important things, the most important metrics as they get started. So we're giving you one master dashboard for things that are the most critical to get right in the beginning. We don't want you getting distracted with occupancy pacing and optimizing your pricing adjustments to your booking window trends. We want you to be successful at the basics so you can thrive well enough to professionalize with Hospitable. So from today, all host plan users will also have metrics on their performance. And with that, we will start updates from other areas of the product, and I'm still on stage for this. So operations, I'm a little ahead of the slides here. So what's this? Updates on operations. We have been working mostly behind the scenes on a big overhaul of Hospitable's operations product. We're starting now to iteratively release some of the work we are doing, starting with task reminders. Task reminders is our #2 most upvoted feature in operations. This will be released to all beta customers starting tomorrow, and then we'll quickly go live for all the rest of our customers shortly thereafter. By default, we are enabling reminders on all operations tasks. They only go out to the person assigned to the task, not all of your teammates, and we send the reminder in the language of the teammate. If you don't need reminders, you can disable them from your task rules, or you can cancel a reminder from the task calendar. Reminders will be sent by both email and SMS if you have both forms of contact for your teammate. We highlight whenever the task is happening on a same-day turnover, so your team knows that the timing is tight. We also show the details of both the previous and the next reservation, as those are often relevant to the clean. And if you've selected smart locks on your task's property access section, we'll also include the smart lock code in the reminder. From here, the team is working towards being able to pay your own team, starting with the ability next to accept or reject tasks so you can have more confidence that an assigned teammate can actually do the tasks. There's a lot of exciting things to look forward to, and we're absolutely going through everything you've been sharing with us on feedback.hospitable.com. If you have additional strong opinions on how this should work and would like to help shape this part of the product, please sign up. The QR code is there. We would love to chat with you. We'll also give you early access to the new features as they're being built in exchange for your time and your feedback. On to mobile updates, which I'm covering since this is Thanksgiving week in the US. We have a few colleagues out, so pitching in for Emily. Owner emails. Branding is the #1 most upvoted feature request for mobile. Sending your communication from your own domain is a big part of that. Now that we can send from your own domain, we can help you save time on owner communications. So we're going to start by helping you onboard your owners to your owners portal. And now the latest feature we have, owner payouts, getting the bank account set up, verifying the know your customer requirements. You don't have to be the one messaging your owners about that. We're going to help you do that communication so we can give you time. And soon we'll be able to do that for anything you want to communicate, that your statement's ready, that the payout has been created, etc. That the password reset emails for your owner payout, they can all go from your URL or your site. If you already connected your own domain to host your owner's portal, you're nearly there, especially if Hospitable is already managing your DNS. You just need to select which email address you'd like to use. The rest is done. If you manage your own domain, your own DNS, we'll show you which DNS records you need to add, and then you can be emailing from your own email address from the Hospitable product. And with that, I will go off stage and pass to Marina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marina. I'm bringing you updates from the connectivity team. We had a town hall a couple weeks back where we released listings management. So Hospitable became your source of truth. But it's only the beginning, right? We're still expanding and having like more features, covering like more breadth into what the OTAs allow you to do. And one of the things that we're going to be releasing soon is photos. So with our photo release, what you're going to be able to do is to be able to add and remove photos. We're going to be able to sync that to Airbnb, Booking, and Direct. You're going to be able to set different cover photos for each platform if you want to run experiments. You're going to be able to write captions and add tags to your pictures. Also, we're going to be identifying if you have low quality images, and we're going to be surfacing them on badges so that you can replace them. And if you do have a lot of low quality images, and that can happen when we, get pictures from one OTA and put into another one, because the OTAs don't give us like the highest quality image that you do have. So we built a smart upload feature that you can just give us all the pictures that you have for your property, and we're going to replace them for you. We're going to detect that they're the same, and we're going to be replacing them for you so that you don't have to do them individually. So this is still in pilot. It hasn't been released yet, but we know that a lot of you do want to be editing pictures for direct, and we decided to open some limited spots for you to join our pilot. If you want to jump on a call with us, we're going to enable photos for your account, and then you can try it, give us feedback, and that's going to help us make it available faster for everyone. We're taking our time because we heard feedback before that photos really impact your ranking, and we want to make sure that we're getting everything right. So this is how you can help us get photos out sooner. So scan the QR code and book some time with me. We have limited spots, but that's going to help us a lot releasing. And I'm going to pass to Tim, who's going to be talking about smart devices.
Thanks, Marina. Hello, everyone. Some smart device updates for you this week. And first, a milestone. So we reached 30,000 connected devices last week. We started the year at about 13,000. So loads of you have been busy connecting your locks and your thermostats this year, which is great. And in terms of how we've gotten there, so we have 10 smart device integrations currently live, 8 of which are for smart locks, including some big names like Yale and Schlage, 2 of which are the thermostats, so Honeywell and Ecobee. So if you haven't connected your devices yet, now is a good time to do that. And part of that reason is because we are about to add an 11th integration. So the KeyNest private pilot has just launched. It says slightly different from our other lock integrations. So KeyNest are they're a 24/7 locker company, primarily based in Europe. So Hospitable will generate a unique magic link and an access code to open one of the KeyNest lockers. If you use them, if you're planning on using them, scan the QR code on the screen, sign up to the private pilot, and we'll be in touch with you. That's all from me. Over to Abby for direct.
Thank you, Tim. For direct, we have an early Christmas present for our direct premium customers from our accountant in residence, Brandon, because starting on December 1st, we are going to be remitting a lot more taxes. So we'll now be remitting taxes for Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and South Carolina. And we've also added several local taxes, so county, city, and special jurisdiction taxes in a couple of states where we are already remitting state level taxes. So those states are Wisconsin, Florida, Colorado, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Texas, and New York. There's a lot here, so I can't begin to list all of the taxes that we are remitting. So we'll drop a link to the documentation, which will tell you exactly which taxes we remit for you in your state. And our goal is to be able to remit taxes in all 50 states to be able to remove that burden for you. So we're getting quite close now. And thank you to Brandon for that. And next is Miles for an update on apps.
Cool.
Or events.
I'm actually skipping ahead to events here, so I snuck those slides out just before I started, Abby. Sorry about that. Yep, so just a few updates on a upcoming events, from the marketing team. So December 11th, for folks primarily out of Texas, but if you want to travel in to Dallas for it, you are welcome to do so. We actually have a holiday meetup that we're partnering with Airbnb on. So that's December 11th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It's a free event. So if you'd like to check it out and get yourself a ticket, please do so at the QR code or the link there. As I said, it's a free event, but we do need to get you registered so we know how many people are coming to make sure there's enough food and drink for you. So if you're interested in joining that event, please take a look at the QR code there and you can find out more details. Also, a couple more online events coming up. So next week for our workshop, we are focusing on 5-star earnings, mastering upsells and reviews. The week afterwards, we are looking at our metrics workshop, as Nick already called out for us. And our next town hall is not actually in 2 weeks, it's actually in 3 weeks. We're going slightly off schedule as we get towards the end of the year, and we're going to do a special year in review, looking back at all of the releases we've done for the year, and some major milestones that you and the company has hit. So all those are at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, or 6 p.m. Central European time. You can scan the QR code to get all of the links for those and all of the registration links too. And without further ado, I'm going to hand over to PC again to give us a little host token update.
Yeah, I'm curious what we're going to be able to achieve with 1 extra week. As for the host token, that's basically the recurring update. It's now at 12.15. It's now at 12.15 just before this title as of 30 minutes ago. There is something interesting that now is available to me, which is the ability to increase the valuation progressively, which is an essential part because we are currently heavily discounted from a valuation. I just had a talk with another founder in the industry that I invited to be investing into Hospitable and didn't understand why basically there was an opportunity to be investing in a close to $30 million ARR company at a $60 million valuation. There is a point where basically the revenue is growing so much faster than the investment valuation, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So now we're going to be taking a bit of a corrective stance. So every month until April, there will be a new step change in the valuation of the company that's available for new investors. And that basically gives me also a great way to be rewarding the people that have been investing early. So the starting valuation was at $15 million. That was in 2021. Under this instrument, as of the beginning of literally a few minutes ago, that was basically still at $60 million. Now it's going to be 73, 90, $100 million, etc. over the next 3 months up until basically from now, $250 million plus in April 2026, which basically is what we believe the business will be worth that and then some today. So basically with the growth that we're anticipating for April, there's still plenty. So if you loved Hospitable at 50 million, at 60 million, you're going to love it even more when it's higher. The point of it is we want to have a company that's going to be community owned. That requires quite a bit of investment to make it happen. No, previous slide, not yet. I'm not done on my rant. But that basically means if there are people that are actually interested in owning a stake of their property management software, now is still a fantastic time to do this. And now with still a very attractive valuation because we just basically at 2x multiple, we would expect to be trading at around 10x. Basically, which is conservative from what I'm seeing in the space. So they're really nothing. And so it turns out that founder that I was talking about would have invested probably at 10 times the valuation that we have now. That basically gives you a bit of an idea of the appetite about investing into a company like Hospitable. So 12-15, this is basically programmed to grow. If you want to get in, now is still the best time. There is major upside ahead for everybody. Now, if you cannot invest for some reason, or if you're a great community person, we are going to be compensating you or reward you rather by this community host grant. So that's something that we've been talking about for quite some time. We are now in execution stage, and I think some people in the chat have already received a fraction of those host tokens, just as a function of contributing on a community. And so helping each other out. That's basically the best incentive we could possibly have is you are helping other Hospitable users, you're providing you feedback, you're having best answers. And that is basically paid de facto in company stock. I don't know if you ever heard that before. Maybe we're going to find out why it's absolutely not common. But I love this idea, and I think it's a great thing. So if it doesn't matter, you don't have to be accredited. It's basically compensation for your work as a bona fide service provider into a community, and we reward 10 contributors with basically grants varying in amounts depending on the value and the ranking on the community leaderboard. So please continue. This is all for now. This is really starting to be all contributions to community.hospitable.com. There will be more ways to contribute in the coming months, and we're getting pretty excited if you have an idea of what you would like to do for the Hospitable community. And now I believe we can move over to the Q&A led with Miles, and obviously the bit of a notice every time.
Yes, the preamble, as always. So yes, heading into a bit of Q&A now. So we're going to invite you to ask your questions on stage. We have a few minutes left to do so. So if you do have a question, please use the react button at the bottom of your screen and then click raise hand in there. I will invite you onto stage. And when I do so, please unmute. It's obviously a key requirement for us to be able to hear you, and it's sometimes a struggle to find. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and look at our list of attendees and see who has raised their hand already. And we're going to start with Gina. Hello, Gina, inviting you on stage. Do you have a question for us? If you can try and unmute if you do have a question, Gina. If not, you can lower your hand in the same place you raised it.
I think you can still share. Oh no, you can't share your slide, right? Because otherwise it messes up. Okay, Diana, can you hear us? If you can hear us, now would be a fantastic time to unmute. So that's the button audio on the bottom left if you're joining us from a computer. If not,
I think we're going to try. Yeah, I think we're going to go to the next person. Yeah,
we're going to skip to the next person.
Cool. I have no idea how to say this name.
No, I think it's Claire. Yes, we're having her. I hope that's it, right? Hello, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
No, that's not Claire. That's not the voice of Claire.
That's Claire's husband.
That's Claire's husband.
That's
so
Claire's
that's Claire
husband,
and
Daniel.
Rob. And I guess you're Rob.
I'm actually Daniel Robertson. Robertson's our surname.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, I was genuinely. I think there was a conversation on our Slack about basically the things because I believe there was a conversation in the community and all. And I'm really curious what it's all about. So go ahead.
So you were talking about helping out the community, right? So how do we share information and best practices, that kind of thing. So we were dealing with the Airbnb changes to fees. I think I've done all that. It's working well now through the platform. But one thing I was looking into in terms of the changes that Airbnb have done recently is regarding chargebacks and reversals, which kind of concerned me. It appears that more of the liability there is on the host now, it appears. So I've done some research. One of the recommendations is update the rental agreement. So we're using your template. There is a clause on indemnification, but it doesn't seem to cover things like fraud, and it doesn't seem to cover certain areas of exposure. For example, mis-selling or misdescriptions or identifications, those kind of things. So somebody could come back and sue you because the house wasn't quite as described, that sort of thing. Or somebody might sue you because effectively, well, not suing you, but they're trying to get a refund because somebody's used their credit card maliciously. Funnily enough, I did attend a workshop yesterday or a webinar from one of your competitors, and it was on this topic, and they made some interesting recommendations, which I might as well mention. One of them was around fraud identification using their payment platform, which is kind of, they're trying to sell that. But they did talk about how to deal with a grievance procedure. And they were talking about capturing logs from your locks, your thermostats, that kind of stuff to identify presence of the guests in the property. If they say they never went there, for example, we could prove that against that. So they were talking about capturing those kind of things. But anyway, I think it'd be interesting to have a discussion around can we update the rental agreement template, maybe the indemnification section to improve that level of protection? I started a discussion in the community this week, and somebody actually stated they've lost something like $4,000 or something as a grievance procedure they're going through, and it seemed like they're quite exposed.
And
so
because
I
of
just think,
legal fees,
is it something we can look at for best practices, recommendations in general? Thank you.
Yeah. So there is basically spontaneously, and I would love if other people on the team basically have any ideas. But I think the first thing that I need to tell you is that Hospitable is providing a template for you. This is not legal advice, and you absolutely have to do the due diligence. And I would not basically go about recommending the team to update any particular language for existing rental agreements or basically new ones, maybe. But that seems a bit flaky for me because there's basically a specific context that may be yours that basically is not applied. So basically, that's my legal obligation to have a disclaimer. Basically, there is no such thing as the hospitable rental agreement. There's a rental agreement that basically you get to edit and format in a software product. So that basically is the first line. I need that to be coming across. The second thing is about Airbnb and the chargebacks. And I think that almost caught us by surprise. Like, that does ring a bell. Maybe there was something in terms of service. And I basically have the payments of the service next to me. And I really genuinely, I'm concerned about basically where you got that. Because there's something that I'm missing. Because what I see in the payment terms of service is basically hosts that are eligible to a virtual credit card. That basically that we're talking about hotels. There is no, if you have a virtual credit card, it's basically a similar setup to fringebooking.com even. So it's not even something that's quite available to any host. And if you're dealing with an hotel, they need to have the credit card on file. They need to be able to authorize a charge and do those things. There is no such thing as a merchant of record with an hotel service. Basically, that thing is gone. So they have to have the credit card on file. So that's what I'm saying. Is basically if you are a host contracting with Airbnb Payments US, and that basically is I believe what's basically paying Hotel Tonight and any kind of initiative that they have about expanding to boutique hotels or hotels of that sort. But that's basically a very custom agreement and different relationship than when the standard short-term rental host, and more than standard even, it's a short-term rental host is basically having with Airbnb. And then on the third part, how do you, so on the damage, there are very different types of chargebacks. I think we're going through a lot. So as a reminder, at Hospitable, we basically cover all fraud chargebacks. For example, we look into the consumer disputes and we basically are in charge of the defense ourselves. But basically on direct booking, if you're allowed to use direct premium, then basically we are the merchant of record and we're fully liable for that. I do believe genuinely that the change that we were talking about are really more talking about hotels. I would love to be wrong. And so I will continue. I want to understand if there's something I'm missing. So I will check on the thread on community to find if there really is a bit that I'm missing. In that case, I would love to apologize. But for me, it seems to be more like hotels, and Airbnb is still going to be acting as a merchant of record for the short-term rentals. There are other booking platforms that basically are trying to put the cost of chargebacks on the host or the managers. It's not exactly a satisfying experiment, but maybe someone is going to want to basically take me on the offer. I just find that de facto, like for example, the things that you're talking about, like checking the logs of entry, checking the logs about any kind of usage of the property, that's a great case to basically demonstrate that there was usage. It may not help you if there is a case of a consumer dispute because the pool was expected to be eaten and was not. It may not help you on the case of fraud because the card may actually be genuinely fraudulent and there is no reconciliation possible between the person that actually checked and used your property and that. So I don't find a direct link to be able to protect yourself from that, except completely externalize the liability of chargebacks to a third party that does it and basically does the actuarial work to basically see what makes sense from an economic standpoint.
Okay, thanks for that.
That's my rant. But I've pinned the topic so that basically. I cannot find it right now because the link has changed again. But anyway, but thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for being on stage.
Thanks for the feedback.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, we'll try and squeeze in a couple more questions, even though we're at time. Tony, inviting you on stage to ask a question. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Hey.
What can we help you today?
This is the first month I've rolled out the owner payouts, and the system, everything so far, it took us a little bit of time to get it set up and figure out how to connect everything. We've got that done now. Uh, the only thing is that it seems like the payment schedule is really far out. So as we're trying to get this from the October payouts, and now it's almost the end of November. So the owner's kind of been asking like, hey, what's the delay on that? And I don't have necessarily an answer for them because it seems like I don't really have any control over when that happens other than the date I put, but it kind of only gave me dates that were really far out into the future to even schedule the payment.
Yeah, I can see. I think Andrew was closer on this topic. Maybe I'm like again.
Sure. Yeah, Emily, our guru, is out. But yeah, Tony, I don't think it was designed to be something that you would onboard and then pay out a previous month. I think it's something that you need to anticipate onboarding for. Maybe doing the November payout run now would be fine. But you are in the ACH payment rails, right? Like this is going through bank transfers. There's large amounts of money. This isn't a credit card operation. And so there are delays in funding your account, getting those funds to clear, and then paying them out. It's not something that you can do like a lightning payout to your owners. It's meant to be something that you have a regular monthly cadence. You approve your statements in the first days of the month from the previous month. So we're talking about, again, November, not October. And then you fund the account for the amounts that you've confirmed. And then the payout goes December 15th for November. That's more of the cadence of the bank transfers.
Okay, so what would be a reasonable expectation? I guess two questions on that. Is there a way once it's scheduled, that's it, like we're pretty much just have to wait for it? And then the second part, like moving forward, what kind of expectations should I set up for the timeline? Is it because it's the first one, or is that just going to be normally how it is, where the cadence that you talked about?
Yeah, so I mean, I think you have some options. Again, I'm not an expert on that part of the product, but you should have some options on times. I think if you're ready to fund your account now, I think you can start out that process, but it can take up to 5 days for a bank transfer to actually clear through ACH. We don't have that problem here in Europe. It's instant. But yeah, we have to work within the payment rails that we have available to us. So yeah, I would recommend getting beyond the product here, like paying your owners out however you can for October, and maybe trying Hospitable for the November payout run.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that was kind of where I was thinking because of the delays. I just didn't know if we've already initiated it, if there was a way to pull back and cancel it, the one that we've already set up for October.
I don't know what date you set up. It might be a better conversation to bring up with support. But if you've initiated like an immediate payout, like within that period, then you're looking at like a week, I think, for the payout run to clear.
Okay, yeah, I do see it. Like the only insights I have are when I go to statements and it just shows a little icon says processing, and then it on there it says payment scheduled for November 29th. That's the only information that I kind of can see on my end.
Yeah, I think on our side, it basically we expect to pay owners within 5 days. So I think we had a bit of a pride pilot before the town hall the last 2 weeks. So the idea is that it will take a few days to basically be capturing the funds, so they actually exist on a balance account in possession of Hospitable, and then immediately they basically are distributed and sent out. But it will take a little bit of time to clear on the owner's bank account as well. So there's basically this kind of delay that's basically is bound for any kind of thing. But in my case, Hospitable, we basically do payroll. We pay on we are debited, I think, on late Monday, US time, or whatever time zone you pick, and then to get paid on Friday by close of business. So the idea is that basically there is this kind of incompressible kind of timing to be able to pay via ACH. So that's the thing. It's very difficult for us to move any faster, simply because there is also sometimes it's a bit flaky. There are issues about, for example, the balance, some accounts that are not funded, and so we need to make sure that we actually have the cash, to be clear, so that we can distribute it to owners. So that basically is the main friction point here. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your help.
Thank you, Tony, for the great question. Great and timely. I think we're at time. So sorry for everyone that basically, I think Monica and Fakaradin, if I would direct you, if you have a question, to ask that directly to support@hospitable.com. If that's for an escalation, and obviously for everybody, you can always send me an email on pc@hospitable.com. It's not a secret. I have so many people that are selling me stuff that I'd rather have a customer once in a while for an escalation. That really would provide some entertainment. So this week, the subject of the town hall was metrics. I don't know if you guys were expecting us to be working on metrics, but we knew we wanted to do something like this, and especially for the proof of concept around, for example, things like Copilot and the ability to create your own metrics yourself. So that's something that's particularly excited and we believe is important in the context, especially of an AI-first PMS like Hospitable, that's going to be able to give you more opportunity to dive into your own metrics, to dive into your own numbers, and obviously be able to act on it with products like dynamic pricing or giving you more trust to be managing your operations through Hospitable. There's going to be more work in the coming weeks, in the coming months about that angle. We just basically are putting a new foundation for metrics, which we really like. So we'd love to hear about your feedback. And next, we're obviously going to make metrics a far more central part of the entire experience of Hospitable. So that's really the kind of nugget for this particular town hall. Now, I won't see you 2 weeks from now. That's because we will see each other 3 weeks from now. We wanted to have a bit of a stretch goal. That probably will not happen. We'll instead take some time to simply grow through this very special year of 2025. You're going to be receiving some perks in the coming weeks, in the coming days, and we'd love to basically tell you how it looks like from a position of Hospitable, and also go back onto everything that we've done in 2025. I don't know about you, but it was a really busy year. There was so much that we've changed. So this is going to be a bit of an opportunity to go back to the roadmap that we've announced in the beginning of the year in January 2025 and see what have we shipped, what have we learned along the way. And yeah, that would be a fantastic way to be ending the year together. Thank you so very much. Have a great rest of your day. See you in 3 weeks.